Right, second time lucky. I'm hoping to take a model into Substance Painter and show you how to texture it. What I've done for this one, I set this up initially with two materials. I had a red one and a blue one. I unwrapped it. The little half of it I've done red, the bottom half of it I did blue, and I baked out this texture as an ID map. An ID map just tells Substance Painter which bit wants which material on it. And to bake it out, all I did was under bake, under camera, bake mode textures, which hopefully you can do, you know how to do anyhow. Right, once you've got this, I also created a high poly version of this, which I'll show you again. I'm just going to go Control B to bevel it, and just drag this out and just round my corners off a little bit, like that. I've got this in smooth mode. File, export, FBX, and this is, I'm going to call it Demo High. This will allow us to get nice round edges on the model when we bake it, which should look a little bit better. File, New. Let's just start. File, New. Discard changes. Right, so File, New. This wants to be set to PBR Metal Roughness, which is what we're going to use in Hi-Fi, and this one needs to be set to OpenGL, which is also again what I think we use in Hi-Fi. And we need to select the mesh, which is going to be Demo, and click Open, and then click OK, and it'll think about it, and we should end up with something looking like this. Now, our controls work a little bit differently than Blender, in that to come around this 3D model you have to hold Alt and left click to come around it. Alt and the mouse wheel pressed in will drag it around, and Alt and right click will zoom in and zoom out. Okay. Now all these windows, you can move them around. Certainly in some of the videos I was watching, this window would be like over here. If you drag it, it just kind of goes in and slots in somewhere else. Doesn't really matter where these things are going. Oh, there we go. So that's kind of docked, and now these are behind each other. If you can't find any of these, if you go to View and then Views, there's lists of all the different bits which you should be able to see. If something's missing, it'll be unchecked in here. Okay, without further ado, if we click down next to Log, we've got the shelf, which is where all the different materials, all this stuff, I have no idea what most of this stuff does. It's all a mystery. I only had it a week. Obviously everybody else knows all these things. What I've been using are smart materials down here, which I've got a whole pile of. There is a website, Substance Share, where you can download these things, but until we understand what they really do, I wouldn't overly anguish about it. Now to put one of these materials in, what should we go with? Let's go for one of these Dirty Jeans things. We just click and drag it up here into this layers window, which as far as I can tell works like Photoshop, and hey presto, the whole thing looks like jeans, which is cool. Now we've also got display settings down here. Viewer settings, maybe. Viewer settings is the one I was looking for. This lets you turn on the kind of background view. These things have they've got like a photograph, like one of these HDR maps in the background, which lights the thing and makes it look nice and attractive. So you can kind of blur it down or turn it down so you can't see it. It's still lighting the model, but only in a there something. Right. Before we start doing any of this stuff, let's just delete these. Let's just jump back. Delete. This is how it's by default. We need to bake these textures. Now you're looking for texture set settings, which on mine is here under this tab. Okay, and we've got this bake textures option here, which has got a lot of different settings. I don't understand. What we do need, see, we've got this. We've got an option for high definition meshes. If we click this little button here, it takes us through to our file thingy, and I'm going to click on Demo High, which is the high poly version I did previously, and then click Bake, and it'll think about things, and it's going to bake out all these cool maps which do interesting stuff. See, this worked. Can you see we've got round corners on this? Roundish looking corners, because we're faking it using assorted maps, but we're doing it in a low poly way. Now we're also gonna need our ID map. So how do we get our ID map in? Right. I think what we do, there's our shelf. Then we click our textures window maybe, and then that's our ID map. If I drag that across to here, an import window will drop in, and it's demo ID map, undefined. I think I'm just going to call it a texture. Import your resources to current session. I think current session, it only saves it for the current session, or you're importing it permanently. Right. Right, where is our ID map go? Select ID map. This is so complicated. Under the texture set settings, in project textures, there it is, demo ID map. Now if we drag this across and put it to where it says select ID map. Why is it not letting me do it? There we go. I dragged it into the right spot. So demo ID map. Right. I think there's possibly a bug here. Properties. I'm just checking the size of this map. Yeah, it's 1024 my ID map, and this is set to 1024 here. They may have fixed it, they may not have fixed it, but if that's a different size than your ID map, which you made out of Blender, this thing crashes. So we shall see what happens. Right, so we've got our ID map. So let's add some materials on. Smart materials. Let's find something vaguely interesting. I'm looking for that kind of scratch metal that everybody uses for all these demos. That's the one, because it's quasi-futuristic. So we've got machinery. You see it's dragged this so it's covering everything, but we don't want that. So if you right click on it, and then it's add mask with color selection, and it vanishes because you've got a black mask on it. Now if you come over here, you've got properties, ID mask, pick color. So I want this bit just to be on this top part. So I've got a drop and a left click, And hey presto, just on the top part. And then we find another material. Let's go with, I don't know, steel painted. I'm going to drag this to the top of this stack. See, just there, with a little white line. And see how it's gone onto everything. So we right click it, add mask with color selection. Now over here to the pick color dropper, and just left click on it. And now we've got two materials on here. Oh dear, this only took 4.5 hours. Taken 4.5 hours. Right, in your, let's try this a bit longer. In your layers section, each one of these smart materials is in like a folder, and it's got all these different things under it. So if we click the red one, over here we get base color. So I think we can kind of change that out. Let's say we want like a nice velvety. We can swap it out, and I think we can also add more layers in. So we've got a new layer on top, and I want to add a black mask, and then pick a. I don't know what happens. We might be able to draw on it. No materials. Color alpha brush. No resources selected. Okay, we get into the area of things I don't know anything about because I've not used any of this stuff before. Oh, no, I don't want that. I also don't know how to get rid of it. Let's possibly got rid of it. Yeah, that's there for all time. We're just gonna have to learn to live with it. No, there we got rid of it. Cool. Oh dear. Stressful much. Right. So what else we've got under here? Under this purple material, we've got fill. All these little settings: seed ratio, channels, mapping, histogram position. Don't know what that does. Don't know what that does. Don't know what that does. Dirt 3. I wonder if we can load in different ones of these. Yes, we can. So we can kind of swap out what these things are doing a little bit. Cool. Right. Once you're vaguely happy with it, this is just the starting point. Then you're going to wonder how to export all these textures. And frankly, I kind of wonder that myself. So we're going to go to File, Export Textures, and this dialog is going to pop up. This needs to be set to PBR Metal Rough AM, and this, we click this one, we can pick where we're saving things to. So I'm going to save it to demo. And then you hit export, and it'll say finish with some warnings. Don't know what the warnings mean, don't care. But in our folder now we've got our color base, which is an albedo by other programs' names. We've got the height map, a metallic map, which is just black and white, which is what we want for hi-fi. We've got a normal map, which again is what we need. Now roughness isn't used by hi-fi, we use a glossiness map. And to turn this into a glossiness map, you need to invert it in Photoshop. So the white bits are black and the black bits are white. And that's just the ID map, which we don't need anymore. But you'd load those back on in Blender. I'm going to leave it at that because we're at 15 minutes and neither of us have learnt anything. Thank you for watching.